All right, so have you ever heard about like a heist involving exotic birds?
Exotic birds.
Yeah, and a flautist who turns into a thief
Okay.
and just a whole bunch of feathers?
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, actually, and that's what we're diving into today, so get ready.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
All right, so we're diving into this captivating world of The Feather Thief.
The Third Thief. Okay.
Yeah, it's a book by Kirk Wallace Johnson.
I've heard of this.
It's a true crime story,
Oh, wow.
but it also unravels this bizarre obsession that shocked the scientific community
Hmm.
and reveals a surprising amount about human nature.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to hear more about this.
So basically, we're going to go deep into this world of fly tying,
Yeah.
which is this art form of using bird feathers to make fishing lures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so who knew feathers could be so valuable, right?
I guess I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, and The Feather Thief shows us just how far this obsession can go.
Okay.
So let's start with our main character, Edwin Rist.
Edwin Rist, all right.
This guy was a young American flautist
Okay, a musician.
living in London,
All right.
totally immersed in the world of fly tying.
Okay.
And in 2009, he pulled off this crazy heist,
A heist.
at the Natural History Museum in Tring,
Wow, in England.
England, yeah.
So what did he steal? I mean, besides feathers, like, was it money or...
So get this.
Yeah.
He wasn't after like money or jewels or anything.
Right.
He was after feathers.
Just feathers?
Almost 300 bird skins.
Wow. That's a lot of birds.
Some of them were collected by Alfred Russel Wallace.
Oh, wow. The guy who, like, co-founded the theory of evolution with Darwin.
Exactly.
So these weren't just any old feathers. These were, like, super valuable scientifically.
Super valuable, yeah.
It's kind of hard to wrap my head around that, like a musician going to these lengths for feathers.
No, right? It's
Oh.
crazy. What drove this guy to do something like this?
Yeah, what was his motivation?
Well, the book digs into Rist's motivations.
Okay.
And it's really a complex mix of greed
Okay.
and a desire for recognition.
Recognition within the fly tying community.
Yeah. And maybe even a little bit of naivete
Naivete
about the severity of his actions.
Oh, like he didn't really understand the consequences of what he was doing.
Yeah, I think so.
That's interesting. So this fly tying world, was it like really competitive?
Yeah, so Johnson paints this picture of this intense, almost obsessive subculture within fly tying,
Hmm.
where some feathers are like the holy grail.
So like some feathers are worth more than others.
Oh, yeah, way more.
Like what kind of feathers are we talking about?
Well, think about, extinct birds or like super rare species.
Oh, I see. So the rarer the bird, the more valuable the feather.
Exactly. And these Victorian era specimens, they were like the ultimate prize.
Wow. So like a historical element to it too.
Yeah, and this demand for these rare feathers
Yeah.
created a black market.
Oh, wow. So it's like a whole underground network for feathers.
It really is, and that's where risk comes in.
I see. So the fly tying community was kind of complicit in all of this then.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Like they knew these feathers were being obtained illegally.
it seems that way. Johnson kind of reveals this blind spot
A blind spot to what?
to where the feathers were coming from,
Okay, so they just didn't care as long as they got the feathers they wanted.
pretty much, yeah.
Wow. That's kind of messed up when you think about it.
Yeah, and the impact on the scientific community was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't just like pretty feathers.
Right.
They held genetic information.
Oh, that's right, because these were skins, not just feathers.
Right, and some of these birds are extinct now.
Yeah.
So that information is lost forever.
That's a huge loss for science.
It is. It's a blow to research, conservation efforts.
It sets us back in terms of understanding these species.
And, it makes you realize that everything is connected.
Yeah.
Even something like fly tying can have global implications.
Yeah. Especially when ethics are thrown out the window.
And Johnson doesn't shy away from those ethical questions.
That's good. I mean, it's important to talk about these things.
Yeah, he actually interviews everyone involved.
Everyone.
Rist, law enforcement,
Wow. Okay.
and even members of the fly tying community.
So he really got all sides of the story.
He did. And it's through those conversations that the book becomes more than just about the crime.
That makes sense.
It's a commentary on the culture, history.
It explores the motivations behind it all.
Yeah, and it makes you think about our own relationship with nature.
I'm starting to see why you wanted to do a deep dive on this.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating story, and it really got me thinking about collecting in general.
Unconnecting, yeah.
Like, where do we draw the line between passion and preservation?
That's a big question, especially with everything going on in the world right now.
Exactly, like climate change.
Yeah, biodiversity loss.
We have to be mindful of the impact of our actions.
Absolutely. This case shows what can happen when that mindfulness is missing.
Right. Our passions shouldn't come at the cost of the planet.
Couldn't agree more.
So for anyone who's even a little bit curious about this whole story, I highly recommend checking out The Feather Thief.
It sounds like a wild ride.
It is. It's true crime, history, and ethics all rolled into one.
I'll definitely add it to my reading list.
Won't be disappointed.
Thanks for bringing this to my attention.
Of course. Always happy to share a good story.
Yeah, this one's definitely a good one. Thanks again.
All right. That's it for today's deep dive.
Until next time.
See you later.
Bye.